In this video, I'll be showing 10 more albums from the 1980s. This time, the year 1983. Some awesome albums. Come on over and let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hoping you have a great morning this morning. It is Friday morning. As always, a coffee kind of morning. Cheers, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. As I said in my intro, this is going to be another 10 albums from the 80s. This time, the year 1983. An excellent album year for music. I think I've chosen 10 great albums, both in CD and vinyl. Only a couple of CDs. Starting off with this one here, from this cool little box set. All these little original album series box sets. I've got a ton of these. From this box set, the album 90125, November 7th, 1983 release. This was my introduction to Yes. This is the 11th studio album by Yes. My ex-girlfriend at the time, who then became my wife, now my ex-wife. Anyway, that's a long story. I'm not even going to go there. We played the heck out of this album. We loved it at the time when it came out, and I still love it. I think it's a great sounding album. During or following the 1980 drama tour, you got Chris Squire, drummer Alan White, Trevor Rabin, the guitarist and vocalist. They formed a band, Cinema. They began recording an album with keyboardist Tony Kaye, who was originally from Yes. Became more commercial, more pop-based music. A lot of it came from Trevor Rabin's demos. And then during the mix, John Anderson was asked if he wanted to join in. And he did. And that became the new lineup of Yes. Hence, they released this album. As I said, this is the first album I ever heard by Yes. I didn't really get into them till later on in life. But I've always had a soft heart for this album, I guess because of when I listened to it and all the surroundings at the time. But Owner of a Lonely Heart, Hold On, It Can Happen, Changes, Cinema, which is a great instrumental, Leave It, Our Song, City of Love, and Hearts. Great album. Great album. Cool little box set. I've got a lot of these on vinyl, but not that one particularly. Another huge commercial success was this one here. Again, from this box set. This is 10 albums by ZZ Top. And you've got Eliminator, the 8th album by the band, March 23rd, 1983 release. Great sounding. They really did a good job on these CDs for sure. March 23rd, 1983 release, right in that MTV era for the band. Billy Gibbons wanted to move to a more popular style of music, away from the boogie and blues rock style that they had in their previous albums. So he upped the tempo of the albums with more steady driving beats, kind of eliminating the other two as they were replaced with more synthesizers and drum machines. And became a huge commercial success. Again, right in that MTV era. Great tracks like Give Me All Your Lovin', Got Me Under Pressure, Sharp Dressed Man, Legs. Spent 101 weeks on the Canadian charts. 2000, the album was voted 355 of the all-time 1,000 albums to listen to. It's also listed as one of the 500 greatest rock albums of all time as well. It's got that 80s sound, but it's still ZZ Top. But Dusty Hill and Frank Beard kind of took a back seat. Even though they are listed as playing on the album, was more electronic stuff to make the album. But still, great album. Great album. Um, this was a VCLT from the great Aaron Musa Alomar, and I can tell because of the Mo-Fi sleeves. This is Hits. I used to call it HYTS, but it's Hits. Arena rock, hard rock band from San Francisco. This is their self-titled album, 1983 release. Think of Saunters. Think of maybe Canada's. It's early. Canada's Loverboy, but a bit more heavier. You got Roland Little on guitars and vocals, Stan Miller on bass, Tony Thompson on keyboards and guitar, and Roy Garcia on drums. Great tracks. It's on the Gold Mountain label, which you don't see too often, but I'm really... Aaron Musa Alomar is the greatest giver in the BC. Lady of the Night, Love Blind, Backstabber, Better Watch Out, This Is Your Night, You're the One, Back on the Streets, Tears Will Flow, Love Taker, Hold You Through the Night. Great tracks. Great tracks. Got this amazing debut. This is Tears for Fears and The Hurting. This is the debut album by Tears for Fears, released March 7th, 1983. It's a concept album, loosely based concept album about child abuse, psychological trauma, depression. Despite the darkness of the album, it was still a commercial success. Had Tears for Fears' first 3 singles on here: Mad World, Change, and Pale Shelter. All of them top 40 hits. Also got Suffer the Children and Pale Shelter on here. All the tracks are written by Roland Orzabal. Fantastic artist. He does vocals, guitars, keyboards, rhythm programming, tambourine. Kurt Smith on vocals and bass and keyboards. Manny Elias on drums. And Ian Stanley on keyboards. Amazing stuff. I love Tears for Fears. Great band. To go from Tears for Fears to Thin Lizzy, Thunder and Lightning. This is the 12th and final album by Thin Lizzy. March 4th, 1983 release. John Sykes, guitarist. He replaced Snowy White, who had all kinds of issues going on. When they brought Sykes over, it became a more heavier sound and guitar sound for the band. It's too bad it was their final album. Phil Lynott on bass, of course, lead vocals, the amazing Phil Lynott. Scott Gorman on guitars and backing vocals, another fantastic artist. John Sykes, as I said, guitar and backing vocals. Darren Wharton on keyboards. Brian Downey on drums. Again, it's a heavier album than their previous stuff. Thunder and Lightning, this is the one. The Sun Goes Down, The Holy War, Cold Sweat, Someday She's Going to Hit Back, Baby Please Don't Go, Bad Habits, and Heart Attack. Fantastic album. It's too bad it was their last, but great album. Another band maybe a lot of people aren't familiar with. This is Zebra, great American hard rock band from New Orleans, formed in 1975. You got lead vocalist Randy Jackson, bassist Felix Hanneman, and drummer Guy Kelso. Randy Jackson's a great guitarist, by the way, as well. This is the debut album, March 25th, 1983. You got 2 big hits off of this one, Who's Behind the Door and Tell Me What You Want. This was Atlanta label's fastest selling debut ever. They became pretty successful at the time. Take Your Fingers from My Hair. That song was covered by Dream Theater on their Black Clouds and Silver Lining album. But great album. What else you got on here? Tell Me What You Want, One More Chance, Slow Down. As I said before, Who's Behind the Door? When You Get There, Take Your Fingers from My Hair, Don't Walk Away, and the La La song. Zebra. continuing with some hard rockin' albums. This is Crocus and Headhunter. I love that cover, by the way, and I love what they've done to the band members on the back cover. The 7th album by the great Swiss hard rock band Crocus, April 25th, 1983. Gold status in the States. Screaming in the Night, the band's biggest hit. Headhunter's the only Crocus album to feature Steve Pace on drums. They also do a great cover of Canadian band Bachman Turner Overdrive, Stayed Awake All Night. Bachman Turner does a heavy job on this one, and they do a fantastic cover. Crocus does. Mark Storrs on lead vocals. Fernando von Arb on lead and rhythm guitar, bass and piano. Mark Kohler on rhythm and lead guitar and bass. Chris Von Rohr on bass and piano and drums. And Steve Pace on drums as well. Judas Priest Rob Halford does some backing vocals on the track Ready to Burn. And Jimmy Jameson from Survivor does some backing vocals on Screaming into the Night. They're Screaming in the Night, sorry. Great album. Great album. A little change of pace on this one. We're going to go to Synchronicity by the Police. Unfortunately, their last studio album, their 5th and last studio album, June 17th, 1983 release. The most successful album of by the Police. You got huge singles on this one. Every Breath You Take, King of Pain, Wrapped Around Your Finger, Synchronicity 2. It won 3 out of 5 Grammy awards in 1984. They were so popular at the time. The Guardian on the BBC called them the biggest band in the world, which I think they were at that time. Again, right in that MTV era, just like ZZ Top. This one appears on so many listings of the greatest albums of all time. 91 on Virgin All Top 1000 albums. 455 on Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest albums of all time. Again, a ton of other rankings. You got 3 amazing artists on this one. Sting, lead vocals, backing vocals, bass, synthesizer, piano, upright bass. Andy Summers on guitar, guitar synthesizer, lead vocals on the song Mother. And Stuart Copeland on drums or percussion. Fantastic album. There's the boys there. Very young looking guys in the band, but this was a hit. Hit. This one wasn't a slouch either. This one's a pretty big hit for the band Def Leppard. Pyromania, the 3rd album by Def Leppard, January 20th, 1983. The first to feature Phil Cullen, who replaced Pete Willis. Produced by Robert John Mutt Lang, to be more precise. Excuse me just a second. Not as heavy as their previous albums, more radio-friendly tracks, which led to more mainstream success. This one charted huge. 10 million copies in the U.S. Big hits like Rock Till You Drop, Stage Fright, Die Hard, The Hunter, Photograph, Rock of Ages, Foolin'. Just hit after hit off of this one. Joe Elliott, of course, on lead vocals, Steve Clark on guitars, Phil Cullen on guitars, Rick Savage on bass, Rick Allen on drums, Pete Willis on rhythm guitar. Fantastic album. And finally, I don't know what to say about this one. The Roger Waters album, even though it's Pink Floyd, The Final Cut, the 12th album by Pink Floyd, the last to feature Roger Waters. The only album without Richard Wright, as he got in a big fight with Roger Waters. A lot of conflict on this album as well. David Gilmour thought a lot of the tracks weren't worthy to be put on the album. Roger Waters accused him of not contributing enough to the album. Nick Mason was basically left with sound effects, so he wasn't even really drumming on the album. Roger Waters planned this as a soundtrack to be part of The Wall, but then the Falkland War starts, and he wrote the album as a concept album about war, about the betrayal of the soldiers, including his father, who died defending freedom in the World War II. Roger Waters sang all the tracks except for one. He wrote all the tracks. Basically, essentially a Waters solo album. It's decent. It's a good listen. It is definitely not my favorite Pink Floyd album, but I don't know. On its own, it's pretty decent album. But if you mix it in with the rest of the catalog, it's nowhere near. Because I guess because of everything that went on the album. But still, overall, it's there in my collection. Anyway, there's 10 more albums from 1983. I'll be back again soon with 1984 and another great 10 albums. I plan on doing a 60s series and a 90s and a 2000 one. But I think I'll just be doing like 10 albums from the 60s, 10 albums from the 90s, 10 albums from 2000, because I just might not have enough to do every single year in that. I'll have to have a look. Anyway, that's my plan. But I'm really enjoying this series. It's really, really cool to do this. And have yourself a great rest of the day. Love you all. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.